Did you have any?
No, sir. Sorry if I get emotional. It kind of upsets me that people ask me that.
So, who do you think might have been involved?
Everybody likes her. I mean, there's nobody off the top of my mind that has anything wrong with her.
So why would someone want to hurt her then?
No idea. She was good to everyone.
In 2011, something violent followed a teenage girl out of West Wendover High School and into the Nevada desert. By nightfall, 16-year-old Michaela Costanzo, known to everyone as Mickey, was gone. She'd finished track practice that Thursday, March 3rd, like she always did. Locker room, a few laps, the usual routine. Normally her older sister picked her up. That day, her sister was out of town. Home was barely a mile away, an easy walk. Mickey never made it. As the afternoon slid into evening in West Wendover, her mother Celia called her phone. It rang. No answer. She called again. This time it didn't even ring. Just silence, as if the call had been deliberately shut off. Family members drove the short stretch between the school and their house, scanning the roadside, expecting to see her walking, backpack slung over one shoulder. Nothing. She was reported missing that same evening. West Wendover is small, about 4,500 people, pressed against the Utah border and surrounded by open desert. News spreads fast there. Police searched town, retraced her route, questioned students.
Like, if something was wrong, she'd vent. She's not one of those girls that hides her feelings, like puts her emotions in her.
By all accounts, she'd left school normally. Phone records told a different story. After track practice, Mickey had made and received multiple calls, most of them to one person, Cody Patton. Cody was 2 years older, a longtime friend. He'd known her since childhood. He had a temper, a history of fights, but he'd always been part of her world. At the time, he was engaged to Toni Fratto and living with her family. When questioned, Cody said he'd seen Mickey after school. He claimed she'd been talking to a small Mexican guy, which he assumed was her boyfriend Javier. Surveillance footage didn't back that up. Cameras showed Mickey in the same area as Cody, near a back exit of the school. No mysterious stranger appeared beside her. 2 days later, the search shifted. 5 miles outside town, a volunteer searcher noticed fresh tyre tracks cutting deep into the desert, far from any main road. The tracks weren't old. They led into open land near railroad tracks. Following them, the searcher saw disturbed brush, then blood. Authorities were called. Beneath the loose desert soil was a shallow grave. Before formal identification, most already knew it was Mickey. She'd been beaten and stabbed multiple times, face, neck. Her hands were secured with zip ties. The injuries were frenzied. This wasn't a single blow. It wasn't a quick act. It was sustained, violent, personal. The zip ties suggested restraint. The shallow grave suggested planning, or at least an attempt to hide what had been done.
A missing girl, a shallow grave, and now a community anxiously waiting for an identification. A 16-year-old girl was last seen walking out of West Wendover High School on Thursday.
An organized search for her was halted this afternoon when police announced the discovery of the grave about 5 miles outside of Wendover.
A searcher looking near these railroad tracks west of town found what officials are describing as a shallow grave.
Cody was brought in again. This time, inconsistencies piled up. Phone records showed repeated contact with Mickey right before her disappearance. Surveillance placed him near her when she left school. Under pressure, particularly after a confrontation with his father, Cody changed his story. He said he'd offered Mickey a ride home. In the car, he claimed she demanded he leave Toni and be with her instead. He refused. He said she became angry. According to him, they ended up outside the car in the desert. He pushed her. She fell, hit her head on a rock, and began seizing. Panicking, he dug a hole. When she continued moving, he struck her with a shovel. Then, he said, he slit her throat to end her suffering. He he buried her and left. That version didn't explain the multiple stab wounds. It didn't explain the zip ties. Cody was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The town reeled. Students gathered inside the high school gym for a candlelight vigil.
Of a 16-year-old West Wendover girl for her murder. Sam Penrod is in West Wendover tonight, where a candlelight vigil was held in that girl's honor. Sam.
Well, when students arrived to school today, Bruce, they were told that one of their own classmates has been arrested for Michaela Costanza's murder. So they're not only dealing with her death, but also the fact that one of their own is now accused of her murder. And tonight, the community gathered here at West Wendover High School to grieve together. Students, their parents, and people from Wendover filled the gymnasium of West Wendover High to pay tribute to 16-year-old Michaela Costanzo. Her friends called her Mickey. Memories were shared, tears were shed, and words of comfort were spoken to her family.
Mickey had been an editor of the school paper, an athlete in basketball and track, a dependable older sister. Now one of their classmates was accused of killing her. While Cody sat in jail, Toni stood by him. She visited, wrote letters, defended him. A month later, she walked into his attorney's office and asked to give a statement. Her version was different. She said Cody had texted her that afternoon. "I got her." She got into the vehicle. The three of them drove into the desert together. An argument followed. She described Mickey on the ground, not moving much. She admitted that both she and Cody attacked her. She said she held Mickey's legs while Cody slit her throat. Now she was implicating herself. She was arrested and charged with murder.
Wendover High School student have led to the arrest of another person in connection with the murder.
Police say 19-year-old Toni Fratto, a senior here at West Wendover High School, was not a suspect in the murder of Michaela Costanzo. In past interviews with authorities, she denied having any involvement in the crime. West Wendover police arrested Fratto last night. Until now, her fiancé, Cody Patton, who was also a senior at the school, was the only suspect.
Investigators examined their communications. A key text, "I got her," was never recovered. But as the case developed, another piece surfaced, Toni's diary. Inside were entries detailing her intense jealousy, her fear that Cody would leave her, her anger at other girls, her resentment toward Mickey. Friends later said Mickey had complained that Cody and Toni bullied her, whispering insults in hallways, trying to isolate her, repeatedly urging her to go for rides with them. She usually refused. The zip ties remained unexplained by either suspect's early statements. Facing the possibility of the death penalty, Cody accepted a plea deal. He admitted to the murder and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Toni also accepted a deal, but again her story shifted. She said Cody had planned it, that while driving he texted her he intended to kill Mickey. She claimed she watched in horror as he attacked her, and that any participation on her part was out of fear, that she believed she would be next if she didn't comply. In court, both minimized their roles while maximizing the others. Cody later told visitors that jealousy drove Toni to kill Mickey. Toni maintained Cody orchestrated everything. In 2012, Toni pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. She was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 18 years. Cody remains imprisoned for life without parole. No single, consistent version of events ever emerged. What is clear is this. After school on March 3, 2011, Mickey left West Wendover High School and got into a vehicle. She was driven into the Nevada desert. Her hands were bound. She was beaten, stabbed repeatedly, and buried in a shallow grave miles from home. The motive prosecutors pointed to was jealousy, intense, festering, escalating into rage. In a town surrounded by emptiness, the violence was anything but empty. It was deliberate, and it ended a 16-year-old girl's life in the space between a school parking lot and a stretch of desert road.